1010XL 92.5 FM.
All right, welcome in. Thanks so much for being with us on the Frangie Show. Hayes Carlyon here with Ryan, the Iron Man Hacker Green. It's great to see you, JJ LaSelva. Frank on vacation this week. He will be back on Monday, but boy, we've got a lot to get to, fellas. What a sports weekend. But Hack, thanks so much for joining us. Long day for you. We had Jags practice this morning. You're doing the Frangie Show, and then you go right into Hacker After Dark at 6, correct?
It's a labor of love. I'm company man, although I'll say this. In this heat, there are a lot of people in Jacksonville working an awful lot harder than I am, so I'm privileged to be doing it, and I'm happy to be here.
Greatest Iron Man wrestlers of all time. Shawn Michaels.
Oh, Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, the 60-minute match.
That was the original one.
That was.
Yeah. So great stuff. JJ, how are you? You've got to be walking on air after Friday night.
Well, I'm always excited when Hack's here. I do love the show when you guys are together. But yes, just wow. I feel like I'm still high on drugs from that game. It was just like I did a live reaction show after, and my smile really hasn't gone off my face since then.
Yeah,
spectacular weekend of sports, and especially for fans of the USA soccer team.
Absolutely, yeah, fantastic job. And so, how does it work for Friday? Because it's a 3:00 start. So, will you?
That's up in the air.
Okay.
Well, I'm definitely doing a live reaction show now. Will it be immediately as the game ends? I don't know.
Okay.
Somebody might take over the last hour of this show. I don't know.
Okay. But there will be an instant reaction at some point Friday.
Yes.
Okay, that's
either
awesome.
right at 5 or at 6. We'll see.
Now, will you do a regular podcast before
we
then?
just did one today, so it'll be out in just a couple hours, and it's we'll be giving the latest on Pulisic, of course, the injury updates, talk more about the game, but that's more of a what else happened in the World Cup this weekend besides just the U.S., but still very U.S. heavy.
You know, one thing to keep in mind, and I'm sure you talked about this in your podcast, people were saying, well, it was Paraguay, right? I mean, here's the one thing. Not that I'm a soccer aficionado, but I've done a little research on this. Paraguay played 18 World Cup qualifiers in South America. They allowed 10 goals in 18 games where they played Brazil. They actually beat Brazil
and Argentina.
And they beat Messi in Argentina.
And Uruguay.
But they allowed 10 goals in 18 games of World Cup qualifying. The U.S. scored 4 goals in one game against them. That was an impressive performance by the United States on Friday.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I want to dive deep into it, but want to set the scene for you. So we were at the Jags. We're going to certainly get into a lot of Jaguars as the show progresses. Next segment, we'll hear from Liam Cohen. He had some great stuff for us, as always, when Liam's at the podium. I had a chance to catch up with Foye Oluwakan, obviously standout linebacker for the Jaguars. We'll play that in our second hour. We'll also hear from Trevor Lawrence at 5 o'clock. He met with reporters. This was the last time we get to see them. They're still on the field this week, but this was the last one that was open to media, but it was great being out there. So lots of Jaguars coming up on the Frangie Show, but yeah, I mean, so much to look back on. Obviously, the U.S. 4-1 over Paraguay, the NBA Finals, the Knicks get it done. What an unbelievable championship run for New York. Bud Colley, local product, wins his first PGA Tour event at 36 years old, snapping an 0 for 238 lifetime on tour. Just amazing the adversity he's come back from, missing basically 4 or 5 years with injury sustained in a serious car accident. And Carolina won the Stanley Cup, so certainly lots to get to. But let's focus on Friday night's game first off, because. And I'm a novice. You're a hacker, you're a fan. JJ is a super fan. So I'm going to defer to you guys with this. But the one thing that I will say in watching it, boy, they look fast and quick. And is this the most athletic team that we've ever had?
Well, they're attacking, and they haven't been attacking. I know JJ talked about that in the reaction show. He talked about it last week when I had him on Hacker After Dark. It's a different coach. So it's a different mindset. And it's not just Pulisic. You know, the conversation for the last 4, 5, 6 years started, centered, and finished with Christian Pulisic. And certainly he's part of the conversation. But you talk about some of the playmakers, Reyna with a goal, Balogun. I mean, that guy was unbelievable. It wasn't so much, the goalie was fine. They didn't face a lot of shots against Paraguay. The defense was fine. JJ, to me, man, it was the attacking offense, the shots. Keep in mind, they scored 4 goals. They had one called back due to an offsides, and he was basically a foot offsides. That would have been goal number 5. And they also had 1 or 2 more that were there for the taking. I mean, they could have had 6 or 7 goals on Friday.
And when you say athletic, I don't know if I buy into that. Like, they're the most athletic American team, but they press the best. So that might make it seem like they're so much faster and more athletic than ever before because, like you said, Pochettino, our new manager, has a style of play that when you lose the ball, you gain it back almost immediately with a ferocious press. So if you don't know what a press is, it's basically on defense, when they have the ball, you get right in their face. It's what it is. You press them, and it's all like a full court press, but it's all over the field, and you can't just do it. The teammate next to you has to do it to their guy, and then you have to keep the rotations, and you all have to stay in the same positions and press at the same time. And there is a science to it. It is very hard to do, but they were doing it at such an incredible rate. Paraguay was getting so choked by our press, they couldn't put together 2 or 3 balls, 2 or 3 passes in a row. It was like we were on them the whole night, and we were playing with such confidence that, like, once we got the ball, the offensive talent, like Hack said, was just I've never seen them play with such a flair before, and flash, and like confidence was oozing. They're hitting nutmegs going between people's legs. They're flipping the ball over people's heads. It was Pulisic taking on 2 guys at a time down the left wing because he just had the confidence that I'm going to get past these guys. I'm better than you. And it was an attack that I have never seen from the United States in any major competition, even in friendlies when you're playing qualifiers against these small countries like Trinidad and Tobago. They don't play like that. So honestly, one of the best performances, if not the best performance I have ever seen us play.
Do you think it's sustainable?
Yeah, I mean, well, look, what they did on Friday night, that was really, really impressive. I don't know if they're going to play that well, but I don't think they need to play that well, at least in the group stage. If they play 80% of what they did Friday night, I like their chances against Australia. Turkey, to me, looked bad. I had heard a lot, JJ, about Turkey being this team that might be an under-the-radar team, the golden era of Turkey football. Look, I watched Turkey and Australia because I wanted to see who the United States was going to play. I was very unimpressed by Turkey. Maybe it was a bad game for them. Australia actually impressed me pretty much a lot more. So Friday in Seattle, to me, is going to decide who wins the group when the United States and Australia get together.
So when you ask if we can keep it up, I think there's a style of play that we have that we will keep up because that's how we play now, which is we want the ball. We're going to play like we're going to pass it around you. We have attackers. We want to defend as least amount of time as possible because that's obviously the bad part of our team. You saw, like, in the goal we gave up, it was off nothing. It was just a goal kick and 2 mistakes by our defenders. Boom, goal. So we're going to want to keep the ball. I think we can do that against about 90% of these teams in this tournament. But once you get to the stages where you're playing the Germany-type teams, then it's not sustainable that you can keep the ball, but the pressing travels anywhere. If you're a great pressing team and you have athletes that can run their socks off like the U.S. do, you're going to give anyone in this tournament a hard time. And it is international football. You don't play with these guys week in and week out teammate-wise. So you see a team today like Spain, who has all the talent in the world, they couldn't score against Cape Verde. So, like, yes, if you have a great core of players that play the system perfectly the same way the manager wants you to, you can go a really long way in these tournaments. So I don't think they're going to score 4 goals. Probably not again in the rest of the tournament. That would just be crazy. That's the most goals they've ever scored, ever, in the World Cup. So, no, I don't think they'll beat Australia 4-1. But I think the same style of play is going to happen through both of the next group games. And quickly on Turkey, Hack, I watched that game as well. Me and you were probably the only 2 people on the East Coast that stayed up till 2 in the morning to watch that game.
I thought I was sick, actually, for watching it, yeah.
But I wanted to see who the teams the U.S. looked like, And Turkey, to me, had the ball the entire game. Like, it was nothing but possession. But Australia was letting them play like that. They didn't care. They knew that they could stop them when it mattered most. And they basically had 2 counterattack opportunities and scored in both of them. So Australia didn't have to do much on offense to win the game. but I still think Turkey is a really good team. I think all these games in the group with all the teams combined, like Paraguay plays who next? Paraguay plays Turkey next. That's going to be a good game. So I think all the teams are pretty evenly matched, but I like our odds to win right now.
And I think, Hayes, the one thing that really stood out for me from Friday night, and Fox did a really good job with the camera, if you go to look after the United States' second goal, when they went up 2-0, they zeroed in on a couple of Paraguay players, and they were just shaking their head.
They were confused the whole game.
And again, these are guys that competed against Brazil, Argentina, Ecuador in World Cup qualifying. And these were guys that were shaking their head on Friday night like they just got hit with a sledgehammer and didn't know what happened. That speaks volumes to what the U.S. did to a pretty good team.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great stuff. We're going to circle back to U.S. soccer in about 30 minutes. But when we come back on the Frangie Show, let's get it to the Jaguars. We were out there today. I mean, I don't think, Hacker, correct me, I didn't see anything that revolutionized the team or anything. It was a good workout. They only went for, like Liam said last week, about an hour and 10 minutes. Good to see him out there. Anything jump out to you in terms of anything notable?
No, nothing really notable. I thought a couple of DBs had some nice plays. A couple of wide receivers. Boy, the two rookies catch everything.
Yes.
Cameron and C.J. Williams, they catch everything. So those two things were noticeable. But I agree. By and large, it was what it was. It was an OTA after mini camp, knowing they're about to get away for a few weeks.
Yeah, absolutely. And they got out of it healthy. Didn't look like anything popped up. So that was very good. But when we come back, let's hear from the head coach. Liam Cohen met with reporters after practice today. Had a lot of great stuff that we're going to get into. You're listening to The Frangie Show on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Hi, I'm Austin Cindric.
Austin Cindric, the winner of the Daytona 500.
1010XL, Jack Sports Radio.
Summer break means the kids are home and your plumbing is working overtime. If something's acting up and backing up, call Duck Duck Rooter. We've got years of experience and honest pricing that's as straightforward as our fixes. With the Summer Splash Plumbing promotion, receive one free drain cleaning with any plumbing repair of $500 or more. Fix what's wrong, clear what's clogged, and get back to enjoying your summer.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
I'm Holt Harrell with Harrell & Harrell. Choosing a law firm after an accident is an important decision. With so many messages, we know it can all sound the same. At Harrell & Harrell, we believe what sets us apart is our commitment to you. We'll help you find doctors to get you better, and we'll work hard to maximize any recovery. Visit our website and look at our reviews to see how we've helped people just like you make this important decision. Harrell & Harrell. Offices, Jacksonville.
Make more birdies with pointers from the pros on Brunch with the Tour with Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser.
Tour news, tips, and inside info.
Teed up on Clearwater Irrigation and North Florida Medical Centers. Tuesday morning at 8:30.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
Coogan's Hicken here, and it's June. Yeah, summertime. Not only are the kids out of school, but it also is Men's Health Awareness Month. Did you know the largest organ on your body is your skin? That's right. And with this summertime sunshine state heat, got to protect that skin, folks. It's more important than you think. I've been seeing my doctor at Beaches Dermatology for years, and my skin thanks me for it. It doesn't take long, but it's a must. Book your appointment today, like right now, online at beachesdermatology.com.
What if your next fun day out costs you $70 to play all day? That's exactly what you get at the Battalion Airsoft Arena, the only indoor airsoft battlefield in Jacks. Skip the same old boring entertainment choices and step into real action with your crew. Perfect for birthdays, company team building, graduation parties, or just epic weekend fun. No experience, no problem. The Battalion package includes everything: gun, mask, and ammo with unlimited play. So lock in your mission now at BattalionAirsoftArena.com.
Hacker here for Awaken 180 Weight Loss. You know, the summer is here. In fact, I'm out on a little vacation right now with my family, and that's one of the great things about Awaken 180 Weight Loss. I'll talk about the coaching you get on Awaken 180. You know, some weight loss programs, what do, right? They just send you some shots. They say, all right, work it out. They send you an appetite suppressant, some sort of pill. All right, you're on your own. Not Awaken 180. You talk with your coach. Like my coach, Kate, every time I was on vacation, every time I had a family get together, we worked up a plan. We worked up something for me to follow, and then I would get right back on the program when I returned from vacation. It's one of the great things about Awaken 180 Weight Loss, and it's why I lost over 100 pounds. It's the best weight loss program I was ever on. They know life happens, but they work with you, and it's great. Go to awaken180weightloss.com. That's awaken180weightloss.com, or call 844-346-1800. Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Welcome back to the Frangie Show. We certainly appreciate our friends at the Best Bet. The Poker Atlas Poker Tour Series is back this week at Best Bet St. Augustine. Event 1 kicks off at 12:30, followed by Flight B at 6 p.m. So go check it out. Best Bet, fantastic place. We always have enjoyed our time there. Hacker is here with us, as Frank is on vacation this week. We've got JJ. Let's turn to the Jaguars. So the final OTA was today that we were able to see, and it went fine. But kind of what Liam told us it would be last week, a big emphasis on the passing game, and again, it was they seem like they've been in rhythm to me like the whole time we've been out there. It's unusual for I think any club, but particularly this one, that we've covered for so long. Boy, they are in a groove and a rhythm offensively, Hack. And it starts with Trevor, but also the diversity of the weapons that they have. It seems like every practice, they get in a rhythm, they get in a groove. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it certainly looks like this is what year 2, when you're being directed by an outstanding head coach, this is what it should look like.
No, I totally agree, and it's been well talked about. Brian Thomas Jr. has been the star of the offseason, OTAs, mini camp. I mean, he has been absolutely fantastic. I think we take Jacoby Myers for granted because every time the ball is thrown his way, it might not look spectacular, but he catches it every time. I mean, he is as reliable as you can be. Parker Washington coming into a contract year. I think we all expect him to break out. And as we mentioned beforehand, those two rookies, again, we'll know a lot more when the pads come on. And I'm not sitting here saying a 5th and a 6th round guy is going to make a huge impact. But everything I've seen from Josh Cameron, C.J. Williams, and I'll lump Tanner Koziel in, the tight end from Houston, all three of those guys, I'm not sure if they could have had any better OTAs or mini camps.
Yeah, I agree, particularly with Koziel. I mean, that catch radius really stands out, his ability to get down the field. I totally agree with you. And yeah, the young rookie receivers have done some good things as well. Lots of stuff from Liam today. I will say he was asked about guys practicing late. That I will say that even when for the bad Jaguar teams, that's usually something you see guys working after. I mean, I can't remember really under Peterson or Marone or even Meyer and Gus Bradley, like they didn't usually blow the whistle and like everybody goes in. Normally you're working extra, but the question's a good one because it does highlight something that I think is important for this team, which is it does seem like they've really carried over the edge of the disappointing loss to Buffalo here in the playoffs. And it seems like Liam's kind of tried to keep it from becoming like the massive, like the biggest story with the team or the biggest motivational tool with the team. But every so often it peaks out. And I thought it did today when Liam was asked about guys staying late, practicing late.
This team understands that there was meat left on the bone, I think, and the way they've attacked this offseason, I think, is representative of that hunger and wanting to try to put ourselves in the best position to go earn those ops next year. I I think Matarujo with the DBs, if it's become a standard. It's become something that we don't have to ask them to do anymore. We don't have to necessarily encourage it. They're doing it, and they're taking the time out of their, rest and recovery to go get some extra reps, and that's important. Like, it was cool being away this weekend with some of our players at Hainsey's wedding in Notre Dame, and seeing our guys interact and be together. There's no question that we have a close group.
It certainly seems that way to me. And Hack, you've been out there, for every one of these. Obviously, we're not in the locker room. That we don't do that until we get to the regular season. But from what it's seeming, what I've observed, and I'm curious to get your thoughts. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it would not surprise me if this team does evolve into having a special camaraderie and chemistry being in year 2 with everybody back.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, they're basically running it back. I mean, with the exception of Devin Lloyd, ETN, a sprinkling in of a Dewey Wingert or a Greg Newsome. I mean, by and large, 85% of the roster is back from last year, and they didn't bring, obviously, anybody in of note other than Chris Rodriguez in veteran free agency, so the coaches like the roster. And we kind of had fun with James Gladstone, not in a mocking way, but the common thing was raise the floor of the roster when he got here in 2025. And that was one of the talking points that he said over and over and over. Well, now you know what he's talking about, because you look out there. I was talking to some folks today. You think about where the Jaguar roster was in 2023 or 2024 at, positions 40 through 60 heading into camp. You look at it now, positions 40 through 60 into camp, the floor of the roster has been raised and then some. They're going to have to cut some good players because there is simply not enough room to keep every good player that they have. So James Gladstone, what he was talking about in elevating the floor of the roster, I think he's done that and then some.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the 53 is going to look really, really good when it comes time to cut down to it. And who knows, they could still add a veteran or two once they get into training camp and really get a good evaluation in the pads of what they have. But I'm with you. The roster looks incredibly balanced and incredibly deep compared to what we've seen over the last 15 years here. This was interesting. Liam was asked about Trevor Lawrence and the footwork, which I kind of had forgotten about. But remember, like a year ago, there was a big thing. Liam wanted Trevor Lawrence to correct his footwork, and they were going through that. And Trevor kind of, you could tell, like, he was on board for doing it, obviously, but it did create a little bit of a, it's something else to think about, to get used to. I thought this was a really good question. Liam was asked today about Trevor Lawrence just being able to play and not worry about the footwork.
He can kind of just go play, right? I mean, obviously when we get into game planning, there's always going to be little tweaks and things that come up, but the meat and potatoes of the system, what we're hunting up, what we're looking for out of each play, he's got a very calm mind. I agree with that. He's able to just call a play, see it, visualize it, and then go and just play. And just go play. You're not thinking about your footwork. You're not thinking about what is my footwork on this drop or on this concept. What is the difference in some of those drops? Look, we're still coaching it, absolutely. But he's got such a grasp for it that you're hopeful that it allows him to just go be him and go be the best version of himself, as we saw so much towards the back half of the last year, and taking growth from that. Like, we should only be taking a lot of growth from that time.
Without a doubt. And I think, again, he's coming off an MVP finalist season, which is still just remarkable to be able to say that about Trevor Lawrence. But he does seem, in the workouts that we have watched, decisive, in rhythm, and playing with a clear and free mind.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, when you consider, and this was a big talking point last year, he's had 3 head coaches in his first 5 years in the NFL, and now he finally gets to keep a head coach and a coordinator. And a coordinator, by the way, that we have some belief in. I don't know how much belief there was in Press Taylor after a while, who was here for a couple of years, but I think there's a lot more belief in Grant Udinski and Liam Cohen than there was at the end of Doug Peterson and Press Taylor. So, yeah, it's year 2, as you mentioned, but it's also familiarity. I mean, this is going to be, year 4 he's had with Brenton Strange? It's going to be year 4 with Parker Washington. It's going to be year 3 with Brian Thomas Jr. I mean, he's still getting familiar with Jacoby Myers. He only had the back half of last season, but it's the familiarity with the coaching staff, the roster. And again, it's all going to come down. Receivers are good. Quarterback's good. I'm confident the running game will get figured out. To me, it's about the big uglies up front. Do they have an offensive line that can allow their skill position to flourish? And I'm more confident in the offensive line now than I probably have been in the last couple of years.
Yeah, there's at least a lot of quantity in terms of candidates that are good to great candidates to make that 5. They've got like 9 or 10 guys.
They got 9 guys that played legitimate snaps for them last year.
Right, or were like a 3rd round pick, which you would think would be, a high-level player, like a Pregnon, Wyatt Milam, 3rd round pick, didn't play much last year. So, yeah, I agree with you, but it will be a lot of fun once the pads go on to see the growth of the offensive line. We talked about this late last week. The Jaguars put out a new episode of The Hunt, and it's fantastic. If you haven't gone to see it yet, you can find it on YouTube or wherever. But it's definitely worth the watch. But one of the big revelations in it is the Nate Borkircher, a few minutes before they made that pick, and offensive coordinator Grant Udinski, as they're all kind of talking about it, he says he will change the offense. Liam was asked earlier today about how exactly Borkircher will change the offense.
Yeah, I think it just allows some of similar to like what Jacoby did in ways, allowing not just himself to come get integrated and do what he does well, but also what it allows for the other guys to do. And so as much as, we love Brenton Strange blocking, and he's so tough. He wants to do it. He's physical. He'll bite you. We also missed some time last year in which our record, and when you look at when he has production, what our record looks like is kind of interesting to see. And so allowing Brenton to continue to do what he does well, but also to maybe take some of that wear and tear, some of the pounding that it takes when you're blocking Trayvon Walkers of the world and Josh Hines Allens of the world, getting them matched up more on those linebackers and safeties. And now he's an advantage for us. Now we have an edge.
That's really interesting because I hadn't really thought too much about Borkircher's arrival enabling Brenton Strange to play more. I think it's not going to be necessarily the Evan Ingram role. Strange is just way too physical for that. But to at least utilize him a little bit more as a matchup problem for the defense in the passing game.
Yeah, and like Liam said, you could argue that when Brenton Strange left with injury last year, the Jaguar offense went into a shell for a couple of weeks. We remember how they struggled after Monday Night Football and that big win over Kansas City. That was the game that Brenton got injured in. And that's kind of a prime example of the depth of the roster. You look at the tight end room, Borkircher, Strange. We talked about Koziel. We both like him. They re-signed Quentin Morris. I think Quentin Morris in special teams and when he was given an opportunity on offense at the end of the year, did some nice things. Hunter Long is kind of the forgotten guy. He had a couple of touchdowns last year when he was healthy. So tight end's a prime example. You got 5 legitimate guys at tight end. They're not keeping 5 tight ends. They're going to have to cut a good player out of that room.
Yeah, without a doubt. One more from Liam that I want you to hear before we break. We know that this is a delicate time in terms of the chess match between offensive minds in this league and defensive minds in this league. There was a lot of shell coverage last year. Defensive coordinators were basically saying, as a group, you're not going to beat us over the top. The offensive counter was what came out of the Rams camp with the heavy tight end formations, and certainly the Jaguars are embracing that with the investment that they've poured into the tight end position this offseason. Liam was asked after practice today, what are some defensive trends around the league that he expects to see?
Multiplicity and diversity within jobs and responsibilities on the defensive side. I think you look at, there's linebackers that are dropping out deeper in coverage than ever before, or you're in some of those dime packages with multiple different DBs on the grass, and they're spinning all over the place, right? You look at Minnesota, I know they train their players almost just as X's. Like they all have to be able to do multiple different jobs, as opposed to just the D-line rushes and plays the run. The linebackers run sideline to sideline and drop a little in coverage and blitz. It's like, how can we continue Antonio Johnson-esque, right? Different jobs, roles, responsibilities, because now it allows you to have different packages, develop players because you're getting them on the grass a little bit earlier. I think that's something that we're seeing.
Fantastic stuff from the head coach today.
I love what Liam Cohen says in those press conferences. I think he is as insightful a head coach as we've had around here in Jacksonville in a long time. He's one of the most insightful head coaches currently in the league, in my opinion. I was doing some quick math here because I was talking about elevating the floor of the roster. So I'm only down to the defensive tackles. I still got a ways to go. I was looking at the 53-man roster the Jaguars put out at the beginning of the 2024 season. All right, so we're talking less than 2 calendar years ago. It was Doug Peterson's final year. I haven't even gotten to defense yet, or I'm sorry, I got through the defensive ends. I still got D tackles, linebackers, and secondary to go. So far, I've counted 16 guys that are not here anymore.
Wow.
That were on that 2024 team less than 2 years ago.
And I bet you're on pace to get to about 28,
25, 30 minimum.
Would be my guess.
It's been a massive, massive upgrade of the roster. You get a roster sheet. We get one every day when we go out to the Miller Electric Center. And when you look at that thing compared to what it was 2 years ago, that is the job that Liam Cohen and James Gladstone have done here.
Yeah, it's been remarkable. No doubt about it. Really excited to see where it continues to go. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's switch gears. The Knicks are world champions for the first time in 53 years. We'll give you our thoughts about a dynamic championship run for New York. Those starved Knicks fans wait no more for the title. We will get to that next. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Live streaming from the XL Digital Studios. Brightened by Harbor Dental Care, Jacksonville's first choice for dental emergencies.
You know interest rates are high all over the country, except for right here at Beards Diamonds. Beards is rolling back interest rates all the way to 0. That's right. Get 0.0% financing right now through June 30th for 5 whole years. So you can splurge on that $10,000 engagement ring and pay just $167 a month with nothing down. Pick any item. Spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest charges. Who else does this? Beards Diamonds is making everything more affordable. Earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, colored gemstone jewelry, designer fashion jewelry. Now through June 30th, get the best value price Beards is famous for and enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. That $3,000 pair of earrings she's been dreaming about is just $50 a month with 0 down. All natural and lab-grown diamonds included. Don't miss this extraordinary smart buying opportunity. Beards Diamonds, Jacksonville's premier jeweler. Not corporate owned like everyone else, but locally owned for over 4 decades at the St. John's Town Center. On approved credit, see store for details.
ET here for Encore Research. What if the next medical breakthrough started with you? Clinical research volunteers play a vital role in helping doctors better understand diseases and develop future treatments. This summer, discover how participating in a clinical research study can advance medical breakthroughs while empowering you to take an active role in your own healthcare journey. Are you ready to learn? Check them out at EncoreDocs.com. Together, we're building a healthier future for Jacksonville.
Post-game Monday on 1010XL. Served by Dandy Foods, making quality fresh sandwiches since 1956.
Hey guys, Prosser here. When you need new windows or doors, you want high-end quality without the middleman markup. That's exactly why I'm telling you about Cash Building Material. Same premium materials, same beautiful finishes, but at a price that actually makes sense for your home. No subcontractors, no runaround, just their own experienced crews who treat your house like it's theirs. Get a quote today, thank me tomorrow. For windows and doors, search Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Hey, it's Joe C. Wingstop just dropped the boneless meal deal for 2. 20 boneless wings, choice of 4 flavors, a large fry, and 2 dips. All for only $16.99. Limited time. And while you're crushing that deal, get in the Club Wingstop loyalty program. 10 points for every single dollar you spend. Sign up now at 1010XL.com/Wingstop. I'm locked in. You need to be too. Wingstop, baby. Get the deal and get in the club. Boneless meal deal for 2 and Club Wingstop. Limited time only at Wingstop.
Experience an electrifying journey through the greatest rock anthems of all time. A night of symphonic rock with iconic hits from legendary bands like Led Zeppelin, Pat Benatar, Kansas, Journey, and Joan Jett. June 26th at Florida Theater, a powerhouse band joined by the sensational Jacksonville Rock Orchestra. A night of symphonic rock. Get your tickets today at floridatheater.com.
Joe C. here. I tried playing handyman with my sprinklers and French drain. Ho, ho, ho. And royally failed. So I called Clearwater Irrigation and Drainage. And John Haney came out personally, just like he'll do for you.
You know it. And for a limited time, my good buddy Joe C's coming too.
Huh?
Ain't that right, Joe?
I gotta go to the game.
Joe? Go!
Clearwater Irrigation.
At least do this part. And drainage too.
ClearwaterJacks.com.
It's Men's Health Month, and Ackerman Urology reminds you that early detection matters for prostate health. If you're over 40, now's the time to get checked. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. So don't wait. Visit AckermanUrology.com.
For 25 years, Instant Keys has been the go-to locksmith service for car keys, transponders, and even high-tech smart locks. For honest, professional locksmith service,
Instant Keys comes to you. 1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Spreading the news.
Oh, how good is this?
I'm leaving today.
You gotta love Sinatra.
I like the song.
Yeah.
The sports teams in New York.
Yeah.
I could do without some of them, but
Yeah.
there's no doubt the Knicks were the best team in the world.
But this was remarkable. I mean, just unbelievable what New York was able to do. What were they, 16-3 in the playoffs? And
16-1 after the first round.
That's right. Yeah. It's one of the more miraculous is probably too strong because they were like the 3 seed in the East, but in terms of like unexpected, the heart, the grit, because I remember thinking for a month that whoever won the West was going to win the title.
I said it on this show like 20 times.
And to think that the East champion won it in 5, but it speaks to it doesn't. And the Knicks obviously have an incredible amount of talent. I'm not selling them short here, but they probably won this more through their heart than necessarily through their talent. Their heart was just off the chart, and their chemistry was just off the chart.
I'll give the Knicks an immense amount of credit because I was one coming into the finals that thought the Spurs were going to win in 6. And if they don't turn the ball over in game 2, and I don't know, if they keep a 29-point lead in game 4, maybe they might win in 6. But to the Knicks' credit, they had the greatest comeback, or one of the greatest comebacks in NBA Finals history in game 4, and then they got the job done. Beating Atlanta, beating a banged-up Philadelphia team, and beating Cleveland did not impress me. Beating San Antonio was impressive because what San Antonio did to Oklahoma City was eye-opening, and everybody thought Wemby was going to go in there and just run roughshod over New York, myself included. And the Knicks were fantastic. And Jalen Brunson, dare I say, was Jordan-esque, particularly in the closeout game. He had 45. I think that tied Jordan.
And they were like all in the second half. Yeah, more than half the team.
Yeah, and he outscored the Spurs the final 8.5 minutes of that game.
He was absolutely incredible. It's hard to dislike that guy. I'm not a big New York Knicks fan, being an Orlando Magic fan. I'm just programmed to not like them very much. But it's hard to dislike Jalen Brunson. He is a very easy guy to root for. He's been told he's too small his whole life. The Knicks got ridiculed for giving him all that money. Well, they're not getting ridiculed now because he just led the Knicks to their first title in 53 years.
I thought that was a really cool part of this story, too, is that the Knicks apparently don't have anybody that they selected like in the first 25 picks of the first round. Like this was not.
Mitchell Robinson is the only guy that plays for them that they even drafted.
Yeah, this was not a tank and amass a bunch of players
either.
Right. It just seems like it was a well thought out collective plan.
Greatly built team using free agents / trades, really.
Yeah, but what Brunson was able to do it it wasn't. He's got to be the most beloved New York athlete now, don't you think?
Right now, for sure.
Well, right, but I mean, even like historically, once
Jeter, it's gonna be a guy like Jeter.
They won every year with the Yankees. It was like constant. Like if the Knicks, I don't know, we'll see. It's hard to say like right the day after they won.
Well, that would be a really good like poll question. And again, it depends how far back you want to go. A lot of people never saw Babe Ruth because they weren't alive. But you talk about New York sports, you got to talk about the Babe. But if we're talking about the last 30 or 40 years, again, I'm not a New Yorker, so I don't know. Maybe I'm speaking out of turn. I would think Jeter, but I would think Jalen Brunson might be just underneath Jeter in that hierarchy.
Jeter's definitely number one. I'm trying to think of who football-wise it would even be.
See, it's like they won the 2 rings with Eli, but it doesn't seem like
guy.
Yeah, and Lawrence Taylor was phenomenal.
Honestly,
so
it'd probably be Lawrence Taylor or Bill Parcells.
Yeah, but the other thing too, we talked a little bit about this last week too. Like, it doesn't seem like in that market the Knicks share the spotlight with anyone. Like, all the fans in New York that grow up as basketball fans are Knicks fans.
There's no Brooklyn Nets.
Right.
And if there is a Brooklyn Nets fan, he was probably also cheering for the Knicks this weekend.
Yeah.
Like, they don't have a rivalry.
They didn't even get to Brooklyn until what, like 10 years ago? They were in New Jersey.
Well, that's a good point because you got the Giants and the Jets, you got the Devils, the Islanders and the Rangers, the Yankees and the Mets.
Right.
The Knicks are a solo show with all due respect to Brooklyn.
And they play in the Garden.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I will say this. I was pulling for the Spurs to win the other night because I really did want to see the environment for a Game 6 at the Garden, which would have just been magnificent. But Jalen Brunson, simply too good.
What a weird series, by the way. I mean, San Antonio literally had a double-digit lead in all 5 games.
It's amazing.
They had the lead in most fourth quarters of all those games. Every game was contested until the very end. I can't remember a finals where literally every single game was down to the last minute or two of the game. It was just a great series. Unfortunately, it was only Joe Coward said a stat today that blew my mind. Only 24% of time in the series were the Knicks ahead.
Yeah.
And they won in 5 games.
It's staggering.
5 games is dominant. And one thing about the Spurs,
Fire
too.
Mitchell, whatever his name, Mitch Johnson now.
Well,
Holy
that's
crap.
the thing.
Well, why didn't they play Harper?
More. And how about in the
he
last
might have scored
game?
40 a game in this series.
And
He was
Castle,
unstoppable.
Meanwhile, Castle's out there throwing the ball all over the place.
Fox was
De'Aaron Fox needs to. They paid him a ton of money. He was awful. I mean, Game 4. What are you doing going to the rim?
That cost them the series.
You back it back out. You make them foul. You go to the free throw line. For him to go to the rim in that situation. But with the Spurs losing, obviously the story is the Knicks right now. The story going into next year is this. Wemby is the best player in basketball. He's going to be the most marketable player in basketball. I can't imagine how many games San Antonio is going to have on national TV next year. In a losing effort, this is now Wemby's league. You know, it's almost very similar to me. It's like LeBron when he got swept in the finals in 2007.
By the Spurs.
Yeah, by the Spurs, right? And Duncan even told him, thank you for one more. This is going to be your league soon. Well, Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson, they're the veterans. Maybe they went up to Wemby and said, thank you, this will be yours soon. If Wemby continues to progress, he's only 22 years old. He is going to be, dare I say, in the conversation 10, 15 years from now as the greatest of all time.
If he gets some guards that'll throw him the damn ball.
Yeah. And if he can stay healthy.
That pissed me off. And
but, I mean,
he has to work. He gets so tired in these games. They literally had to take him out with 4 minutes left for a little bit just to get a breather. Like, you never see superstars have to sit in the bench in the fourth quarter.
No, that's fair.
He's like you, Hayes, said last week, Hayes, though. Imagine when he's 27.
Right.
Like, what's he going to look like?
That's the thing. I mean, he's going to easily be able to put 30 pounds of muscle on.
Yeah, just naturally.
Yeah, and so it will be interesting to see how Wemby continues to progress. Great stuff. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's get it back to U.S. soccer. Let's dive into that 4-1 win over Paraguay and take a look at Friday's game against Australia. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
It's the ultimate ride.
The fans have risen to their feet.
Sunday at Naval Base Coronado.
Lap traffic straight ahead.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipefitters Local Union 234 on Jacksonville's voice of NASCAR, 1010XL.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infiniti is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carline. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infiniti is inspected, factory backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship level service as a brand new Infiniti? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfiniti.com or visit Atlantic Infiniti off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
Frank Frangie here for my friend and insurance agent, Craig Dewhurst. Craig has been helping families on the First Coast with their insurance needs for 25 years as your good neighbor and local State Farm agent. Now is a great time to review your insurance policies, whether you need auto, homeowners, or renter's insurance, or insurance for your golf cart, boat, or jet skis. Craig handles all of my family's insurance needs, and even better, he gives back to the community. Call Craig today at 904-940-9740. That's 904-940-9740.
Get out of the city and into the woods and the water.
I keep on working it.
On the Nimnicht Outdoors Show, Captain Kevin and Captain Kirk join Jeff Lageman.
I am shooting one today.
Get hooked Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Yeah, I know how awful it is to get injured, but not like my friend Tom, who got rear-ended last year. Tom McManus here. Morgan & Morgan can help you. They're the largest personal injury law firm in the nation. 1,000 lawyers, 100 offices across the nation, and over $30 billion recovered. And guess what? They don't get a single penny unless you do. A proven track record with backup. Hard to find these days, but not with Morgan & Morgan. For the people, that's right. Get injured due to someone's neglect, get paid. Dial Pound Law or check out forthepeople.com.
What if the next roof you put on your home was the last one? Not another replacement in 15 or 20 years, the last roof. Metlock Roofing is Florida's only manufacturer and installer of this exclusive roofing system. Engineered for strength, built for Florida weather, backed by a lifetime warranty. Imagine never needing another roof. Call 938-9933 or visit METLOKroofing.com. Get your last roof today with Metlock. License number CCC 1335581.
Joe C here, and the XL Primetime crew will be live from the all-new Back 9 Golf Lakewood this Friday from noon to 2 at the corner of San Jose and Bay Meadows. Come see the facility, take some swings, and hang with us this Friday at the all-new Back 9 Lakewood.
In this age of globalization, we've learned that bigger isn't always better. Ever tried to get phone help from a big corporation? From a real person? Good luck. That is what's so nice about Mike Merritt's Heating and Air. Unlike publicly traded conglomerates with headquarters in faraway cities, Mike Merritt's Heating and Air remains family-owned and operated by Mike, your neighbor. Mike Merritt has delivered hometown service, integrity, and pricing for generations. The big guys incentivize their techs to sell you new equipment. Mike's team emphasizes repair first. We only sell you equipment if your current equipment is worn out and beyond repair. And let's be honest about price. Small operations without much overhead can sometimes lowball your job, but you can't trust just anyone with a truck. They may be here today and gone tomorrow. Mike Merritt has been keeping North Florida cool for more than 3 decades. That's experience and dedication you can count on. Call today or see us on the web.
Florida license number CAC 050384.
Hi, this is Randy Goodwin with PRI Productions. We're proud to partner with Dreams Come True, a Jacksonville nonprofit that grants the dreams of children that are facing life-threatening illnesses. Join us for Dream Day on Saturday, June 27th from 8:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at PRI Productions, located at 1819 Kings Avenue in San Marco. Come cheer on 35 incredible children and help make their day unforgettable. It's all free. You just need to be there Saturday, June 27th, Dream Day. Hope to see you there.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
We certainly appreciate our friends at the Best Bet. Weekend winnings are still hot at the Best Bet locations every Friday and Saturday from noon to midnight. $800 high hands every 30 minutes. So be sure to check out the Best Bet. Welcome back to the Frangie Show. Frank on vacation this week, but we've got Hacker, the Iron Man, sitting in with us. JJ LaSelva is here. Let's get it back to the triumphant U.S. soccer debut, the 4-1 win over Paraguay. First off, I loved the broadcast. I love Mahomes kind of setting the scene of it. I thought he did an incredible job. And I loved how they tied in Miracle and the story of Herb Brooks and the 1980 team. Obviously different sport, but it was
Did you see that Pochettino had never even heard of it before?
Yeah.
And so they watched the movie and he was like completely moved by that and made the whole team watch.
And it was really cool how he talked about, obviously, how they all galvanized around each other and became a close group. But he said something also that I thought was really interesting about how Herb Brooks in the movie, they showed the scene where he tells his assistant, look, it's not about picking the best players. It's about picking the right
team.
players for us. Mm-hmm. And he said that really spoke to me and our staff. And I mean, and then obviously the game was
And by the way,
incredible.
before we get to the game, you can tell that these guys are so close, like off the field, that when Reyna scored the last goal of the game, Pochettino was on the field. Every player from the bench was on the field celebrating, because if you don't know, Reyna had been like the black sheep of the last World Cup. He had a really contentious relationship with our last manager. Their families got into it. They're both like USMNT royalty. Their families got into it. Reyna was almost kicked off the team. So like for him to come back, it's like a great career arc, and to score that goal meant so much to him. You could tell with the celebration, with his ears plugged, like I'm not listening. And to see Poch on the field, that was when I was like, oh, that whole like team thing isn't BS. These guys really are playing hard for each other.
So do you get the sense, Hack, that this is the start of maybe something special?
I hope so. I mean, the last time the World Cup was in the United States was 1994, and I remember watching. It was July 4th, 94, when they lost to Brazil 1-0 in a sold-out Rose Bowl. And because people always talk about the women's team in 99 at the Rose Bowl, and that gets all the attention because of Brandi Chastain, and it was a final, and I get that. But 5 years earlier, in the round of 16, in the Rose Bowl, Tony Meola, Alexi Lalas, Eric Winalda, Colby Jones, I'm bringing up memories of 32 years ago, that U.S. soccer team, and really it got embraced by this country. The one thing that I find is interesting, and maybe it's just a little pet peeve of mine, I was talking to some buddies about it earlier today, and admittedly, they're not soccer fans, but they made sure to tell me that. They're like, hey, man, I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but I was really into it on Friday night. You don't have to put that caveat. You don't have to be the biggest soccer fan. You don't have to say, hey, I don't know a lot about soccer.
It's almost their way of saying, like, it's okay.
Right.
Like,
that's
soccer's
my point.
okay. It's like, yeah, we know it's okay. It's the biggest sport in the world,
You
guys.
don't have to justify watching it.
Yeah,
Watch it for the
USA.
event. Watch it for what it is. Don't come up to me and say, hey, Hacker, or hey, Carline, or hey, LaSelva, I'm not the biggest soccer fan, but boy, that was a lot of fun on Friday. No, just say, you know what?
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun on Friday. You don't have to put a caveat. Enjoy the ride, man, because I do think this might be the beginning of an incredible ride for the next 3, 4, 5 weeks.
JJ, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to win the thing. I mean, let's be realistic about it.
But if they got to like the quarters, that would be like euphoria.
And even like,
they've won one knockout game in the history of their
they've won
country.
one knockout game in the history, and it was against Mexico. And like I always say, that's like when Alabama beat Oklahoma in this year's playoff. It's another SEC team. It's like we won a playoff game, but it's like we always beat Mexico.
And
What's the big deal? So for us to go ahead.
It was against Mexico at 5 in the morning.
In Korea.
Because it was in South Korea. Right. Nobody watched it because it was at 5 a.m. Eastern time.
So I think that this team could, you're going to have to get lucky with the draw. That's going to be like, imagine if Spain finishes like second in your group and you accidentally get drawn against them after you win. Like, you can get a bad luck draw, but just the way the team is playing and everything, yeah, I think something really special could happen, especially on home soil. Like, home field advantage means so much in this sport. And especially in a big tournament. And like for them to get off, I thought maybe being at home, the pressure would be too much if it was like 0-0 in that Paraguay game going into the 70th minute and the fans start to like get antsy. But because they scored so fast, the floodgates opened, like everybody was in, like the crowd was spectacular. I was scared something like what happened in Mexico a couple days before would happen, which is they didn't impress. The Mexican fans started to feel nervous, and they started to boo the team. And that's like the last thing you want to have happen at the beginning of a tournament. So, yeah, honestly, I see really good things for this team. I see a deep run. And by deep run, I don't mean semis or finals, but I see a deep run for this team.
What's your concern about the injury to Pulisic?
I think that he is a guy who's oft injured, and you can't take a risk with him. And honestly, to me, so the latest came out that he practiced today, not with the team, but to the side, which is sort of normal in the soccer world when a guy's trying to work his way back from an injury, because you don't want to put him on the field with guys where they could make a slide tackle or somebody slip and hurt him even more. So he was just doing work on the side. I think he will be ready for the game. Would I risk him and start him in the game? I particularly wouldn't, because I think we can beat Australia without him. I think if Reyna starts in place of him and everything stays the same, he's definitely good enough to win without Pulisic, because you saw how good he was on Friday. He was, man, possessed in that game.
He's a twitchy athlete.
Oh my God. Yeah. We need him in the really, really big games, the Turkey, and of course the knockout games. So to me, I'd sit him. I think we can beat him without Australia. And if it is a 0-0, bring him in the 70th minute or something, unlock the defense, and hopefully score a winning goal. But we need to be really, really careful with how we treat Pulisic this week.
Yeah.
Because he's a guy who is made of glass.
Yeah.
And we need him to go far.
Absolutely. Great stuff. When we come back on the Frangie Show, let's get it back to the Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence talked to reporters after practice today. We'll give you his thoughts. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are expecting slight turbulence. Please remain in your seats until the captain has turned off the fasten seatbelt sign.
We have clearance, Clarence. What's our vector, Victor?
1010XL.
It's the only way to fly.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Summer's here, and it's the perfect time to upgrade your backyard with Superior Fence and Rail. Get the fence you've been wanting with 12 months financing and no interest, so you can enjoy more privacy, more security, and more curb appeal without the upfront stress. Make your outdoor space ready for summer. You must have credit approval from our third-party financial institution. Call today or visit SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com. If you can't wait for kickoff, tip-off, or the first pitch, get your Gator fix anytime with a Gator podcast channel. Exclusive Florida Gator content from 1010XL. Set up by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
AC's broke, it ain't no joke. Call Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. Florida Home AC. FloridaHomeAC.com.
June is Men's Health Month, and at Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we believe your health is a partnership. This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, and our OSJ team works with you to create personalized orthopedic treatment plans built around your goals, your lifestyle, and your recovery. Whether you're dealing with joint pain, sports injuries, or back discomfort, you don't have to push through it alone. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, OSJ is here to help you get back to doing what you love pain-free. Visit Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville at osjax.com to schedule your appointment.
WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
You want to get a little action in the game as the World Cup is underway. You can go to Kalshi. It's the world's biggest soccer tournament. It's arrived, and you can trade the entire tournament on Kalshi. You see, on Kalshi, you trade every match from the opening stage all the way through to the final. Let me tell you what to do. Go to KALSHI. I'm sure by now you've heard of Kalshi. But you can go through the exact procedures and how you can best maximize your ability to predict outcomes. So whether it is a specific match that you would like to invest in, or maybe it's who's going to win overall. With the percentages very easily explained, you'll have a financial stake in your predictive abilities. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there is no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code 1010XL. You'll get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade the beautiful game.
Southwest Greens is the OG of artificial turf in North Florida. Stop mowing and start chipping or putting or just relaxing with a beautiful backyard, maintenance free. Log on to southwestgreensofjacksonville.com to see what they can do to your backyard.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. By now, everyone has heard about saving money on their energy bills. There are all sorts of things you can do to cut energy costs, but most people don't think about their windows.
But Window World knows that the biggest energy loss in almost every home is the windows. There is more energy loss from old builder-grade windows than just about anything else in your home.
You can upgrade your heating and air, your appliances. That's good too. But before you do all that, upgrade your windows to Window World's energy-efficient windows.
Window World's windows are easy to clean, energy efficient, and have the best guarantee in the business.
Window World's slogan is simply the best for less, and we mean it. You get great American-made windows, and you get to keep more of your money when you buy from Window World. Need any more reasons to buy your windows from Window World? Call them today and set up your free in-home estimate, or go online to windowworldneflorida.com.
Window
World, simply the best for less. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors. I'm Tom Champion with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update, brought to you by Southern Oak Insurance. The Gators' new baseball coach has quite a resume. Rich Dorman developed 15 Major League draft picks and 10 All-American pitchers in 7 seasons at Oregon. And your home for play-by-play is also your home for World Cup soccer. Get scores and updates all day on 1010XL. It's 83 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Welcome back to The Frangie Show. Frank is out this week. He will be back with us on Monday, but Hacker kind enough to join us. We certainly appreciate that. JJ LaSelva is here. Let's get it back to the Jaguars. The Jaguars had the final OTA today that the media will get to see, and Trevor Lawrence met with us before, we kind of go our separate ways for a month before July 28th and back for training camp. But Trevor Lawrence covered a lot of ground today, and it was good stuff. Let's start with his health and not having to worry about the shoulder or the footwork that we talked about earlier with Liam when Liam got here and wanted to tweak his fundamentals. Trevor really seems like he's been playing loose, clear-minded, and he talked about being able to just focus on the scheme, the offense, and the players around him today.
A lot calmer, a lot more confident in my progressions and what I know about the system and stepping out. So, when I get on the grass, it's a lot less thinking. So I think that's the biggest thing is I can react, play faster, can work on some different things of my game because the focus isn't as much on what to do and what's the play call and what are all the adjustments. I know all that stuff and still study that and work on it because it's easy to forget little details. But as far as being able to work on more detailed things with the receivers and the communication with those guys as opposed to just lining up and running the play, we're a lot further ahead this year. So it's a good feeling to be able to work on more stuff. Our installs have been a lot more in depth as well because the guys have, come ready to go and they know the system.
My hope also with this, Hacker, is that you said something earlier pointing it out, which is dead on. Obviously, he's had a lot of turnover with coaches, offensive play callers that he's had to deal with, new players, getting used to them. This is a rare offseason of really no rehab for him. It's the same offense, same head coach, same offensive coordinator, all that stuff. It feels like he's never really been able to get to a point, and maybe this is the arrival of this, where he can kind of start to focus a little bit earlier on opponents and start to become more of a cerebral quarterback out there in terms of diagnosing. You got to have the luxury of a stable environment around you to then get to that. If you're learning a new offense, you're not going to be able to focus much on divisional opponents and things like that. But do you get a sense that Trevor is getting to a point in his career where maybe we'll start to see that anticipation of knowing what the opponent is getting ready to do? Do you think we'll see that possibly come out a little bit more this year?
Yeah, that's certainly my hope, and it'd be something that would be great to see. I think there's two words when I look at Trevor Lawrence and what he did this offseason: trust and confidence. I think there's a trust that he has with Liam Cohen and Grant Udinski and all the guys on that staff for what they did for his game last year and what they could potentially do for it moving forward. And there's a confidence because finally, for the first time in an offseason, we talk about the injuries, right? Well, there's also something to be said when you turn on social media, you turn on the 24-hour sports news cycle where Trevor Lawrence isn't getting lambasted for bad play, and Trevor's this and Trevor's that, and he's not generational, and he's a bad pick, and he's a bust, and all the stuff that's been said. None of that's being said right now. What's being said right now is what you said earlier. He was one of the top 5 left standing for the most valuable player in the National Football League. They lost that playoff game, but in the fourth quarter, Trevor Lawrence, not once but twice, led the offense down to touchdown drives that gave the Jaguars the lead against that Sean McDermott Buffalo Bills defense. Even though they lost it, they did not lose it because of Trevor Lawrence. So I think he has a trust in the staff, which might be the first time he's trusted a staff in his NFL career. And I think there's a confidence about what he did last year and that he can get better from it.
Yeah, without a doubt. This was, I thought, really interesting. Trevor was asked about just sort of what his favorite throw is in this offense, the dagger, and Trevor gave a great response to our buddy Ryan O'Halloran.
You know, the timing is something that I feel really comfortable with all of our guys. We got a lot of guys that can rip in the middle of the field, trust them to come flat and show up on time. And I think that's probably the biggest thing, is trusting guys to get in that zone. And I feel like obviously there's certain coverages where they take it away, but in my opinion, there's not many. I feel like if we're on time, I throw it early. I know where the window is. I know guys are going to get there. I think I can, cut it loose in almost every look. So we have a lot of confidence throwing that. Guys running it, guys like running that, and know I'm going to put it there on time. So I think that's something we continue to develop and build off of. Obviously, you got to have compliments because I think teams know that's something that we do well, but going to continue to build on that, and that's, of course, going to be a big part of our offense.
I thought that was really interesting because we haven't heard Trevor very often have that aura of, if we do this right, you can't stop it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was sort of radiated out of those comments about, it's pretty much regardless of the defense. If we do it right, it's there.
Oh, there's no doubt. And that's why I brought up the offensive line earlier. If the offensive line gives him the protection, I don't know how many NFL teams there are with a better trio of wide receivers than Jacoby Myers, Parker Washington, and Brian Thomas Jr. And then you lump a tight end like Brenton Strange into the mix. And by the way, that's not even mentioning a guy named Travis Hunter, who might be sprinkled in there as well. I mean, it could potentially be an embarrassment of riches at skill position. Like, if I were to ask you right now, who's going to lead the Jaguars in catches this year?
I'd say Myers, but it's close.
Right. You could have a conversation about Myers, Washington, BTJ. How many teams can you have that conversation about? And that speaks to, if you're a defensive coordinator preparing for the Jaguars, who are you preparing to take away? Are you preparing to take away Brian Thomas Jr.? Because then, Jacoby Myers and Parker Washington will eat you alive. Are you preparing to take away, 2 of the wide receivers? What about Brenton Strange? What if they throw Travis Hunter out there? It's going to be a defensive coordinator nightmare. The Jaguars don't have a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson, a star among stars at wide receiver. But hey, is what they do have are 3 or 4 pretty darn good wide receivers and tight ends on this team. And I don't know if you're a defensive coordinator who you're game planning to take away.
Yeah, I totally agree. When Trevor breaks the huddle, he should have the utmost confidence that he is going to be able to find an advantageous matchup. Because other than the Texans and Broncos, there just isn't a defense they're going to see that I think can at least be comfortable matching up with that plethora of options that the Jaguars have available. In fact, going back to the production prediction, I think you could see it where like Myers leads them in catches, BTJ leads them in yards, and Parker Washington leads them in touchdowns.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I don't know how many teams you can say that about.
Yeah.
Because again, like the Rams. The Rams have Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. I'm not going to sit here and argue that they don't have if you're doing a schoolyard pick'em, Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua would probably be the first 2 receivers taken in a Rams Jaguars schoolyard pick'em. Who are going to be the next 4 guys taken? Who's the Rams' 3rd wide receiver? Jordan Whittington?
Yeah.
Nothing against Jordan Whittington, but I think the next receivers are gone are going to be Myers, Thomas, Washington, maybe Hunter in that era. I think top to bottom in that wide receiver room, the Jaguars have a better wide receiver room than even a team like the Rams.
Without a doubt, which is what makes the tight end emphasis so interesting, because obviously when you've got more tight ends on the field, you've got receivers coming off the field. And Liam has spoken the last few weeks about, I love our receiver room. So there's a dynamic there of, you want to go a little heavy because that's where the league's going. And you can tell defenses are having trouble catching up to that. But you also have this great array of weapons at the receiver spot, and you want those guys to be on the field for obviously the lion's share of the game as well. Talking about the well-rounded tight end room, Trevor Lawrence addressed it today. I thought he had some really interesting comments.
Yeah, I think having a well-rounded tight end room is super important, just because talk about all the different personnel groupings, and when you're trying to get a certain defensive personnel on the field and you have the ability to still throw the ball, whether it's 12 or 13, you still have a real threat in the pass game. And that's important, just because then you can dictate what happens with the defense a little bit more. And when you don't, it's a little bit harder. You get a little bit more, I guess, a little bit easier to track what you're doing as far as running the ball, tendencies, all that. So I think that's going to help us with our tendencies, going to be able to do a lot of different things, run game and pass game, with the versatile tight ends we have.
I really think they've got Borkertcher, I'm basing it more on their love of him as a prospect, but Koziel is already starting to show some things. Obviously, Brenton Strange is going to be a Jaguar for many more years to come, and they'll get that deal done. And we know what an outstanding all-around player he is, but it's just another element to this offense as it evolves that should make them even harder to stop for a team that was hard to stop last year.
Koziel has a TE next to his name, so he's a tight end. Isn't he basically, though, the Tim Patrick in this offense? Bigger than Tim Patrick, obviously, but when you lose Tim Patrick, they try to go out and get Bobo from Seattle. Seattle matched that, so they needed a big wide receiver-esque guy. Well, instead of getting a big wide receiver-esque guy, they went out and got a 6'7", 255-pound man that led college football tight ends in receptions last year. I think he had, 74?
And it had 168 over the last 2 years combined. I mean, those are receiver numbers. Those aren't tight end numbers.
You watch him, and I know you have every day down there, just like I have. You watch that guy. He has got some paws on him. If that ball is anywhere near him, odds are he's going to come down with it. Tanner Koziel is a guy that I'm pretty excited about.
I think absolutely. I think everybody should be very excited about what he has shown so far. We'll get you out with this in regards to Trevor meeting with reporters today. Obviously, the deep ball emphasis has been there. We've talked at great length about it because of the resurgence of Brian Thomas Jr. And we know how explosive Parker Washington is as well. Jacoby Myers, you can't lose sight of him. But the deep ball, you can tell they have taken a big step forward with it so far. It may not hold up. They may get to these joint practices in August, and where's the deep ball? They may get to the Cleveland game and beyond, and we're wondering, well, where's the deep ball? It looked good in OTAs. But for now, it looks like they have found something. This is Trevor Lawrence talking about how much work they have put in on mastering the deep ball.
Yeah, I think it's something that is important in offense. Obviously, those explosive plays down the field. And we had a lot of explosives, but it wasn't in the same way as you would think. It's not as many shots down the field vertically. It was more across the field in cuts. Maybe it's overs across the field hitting where those guys are running out the back door. So trying to find a way to take the top off the defense more, have more explosives. And because we have the skill set, we have guys that can run past DBs. I can put the ball where I need to, where those guys can go get it. So I think it was more about spending the time and just kind of perfecting that. And that's still a work in progress, but we made some big steps this offseason. And you look at throughout my career, and even 2 years ago, that was something that we did really well with BT, and we threw a lot of shots and hit a lot of those. And it got better towards the end of the season last year, but just more consistency. And there's more guys than just BT that can do it. So I think having our whole offense where it's not just BT running the shots, it could be Jacoby, Parker, Travis. I mean, even our tight ends can run. I think there's just so many different things that we can do that'll open up our offense to where we're not predictable.
When BTJ and Hunter are on the field at the same time, that will be interesting to see how defensive coordinators go about that.
There's no doubt, and that leads me to my question to you as far as Travis Hunter goes. Again, we don't know, everybody's speculating, but look, I'm out there every day. You're out there every day. We talk to a lot of people. I mean, what's your thought on the percentage of snaps Travis Hunter's going to get on the offensive side of the ball?
I think it's going to be significant. I mean, I think he'll be the number one corner, so I think he'll play pretty much the whole game defensively. But I would think, if they have 65 offensive snaps in a game, he's playing 25, 30.
I think there's no doubt that I think you're probably spot on there. It's exactly what I was going to say. I think there will be a factor for Travis Hunter on offense, and all this conversation nationally that he's a DB only now. I don't know why that started or where that started. Gladstone and Cohen have never stated that. He will be a primarily defensive back, meaning he's going to play almost every defensive snap, but that doesn't mean they're going to take him away from what he was doing on offense. Because remember, before he got hurt in London, he had a 100-yard receiving game. He was just coming into his own last year. That injury sucked at the time. You wonder, though, in hindsight, is Jacoby Myers a Jaguar if Travis Hunter doesn't get hurt? And now that we've kind of come through the injury and we're on the other side of it, now they get Myers out there with Washington, with BTJ, and potentially Travis Hunter in a 4 wide receiver set. Good luck stopping that if Trevor Lawrence has time.
It's going to be so much fun. Can't wait for football season to be here. Let's stay on the Jaguars when we come back, but we'll switch it to the defensive side of the football. I had a chance to catch up with middle linebacker Foye Oluwakan after practice today. We will play that for you next. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's the ride home with the Frangie Show. From the Harrell and Harrell studio, don't settle for less than you deserve.
This is 1010XL.
Always us on 3. 1, 2, 3. Always us.
Home of the Jaguars. This World Cup soccer update is laced up by Valvoline Instant Oil Changes and Houston's Meats.
Westwood One Sports presents this World Soccer Update, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Insurance makes bundling home and auto easy. Learn more at progressive.com. We have a final in Seattle. Belgium and Egypt played out a 1-1 draw in Group G. Imam Ashur scored the opener in the 20th minute before a Belgian equalizer in the 66th minute officially ruled an own goal, but forced by the run of Romelu Lukaku only seconds after coming into the game. A shocker in Atlanta kicked off the action today as Cape Verde, a nation of 10 islands off the western coast of Africa, stunned the defending European champs Spain in their tournament debut with a scoreless draw beginning Group H play. Cape Verde goalkeeper Vozinha was the star, the 40-year-old with 7 saves to preserve the point. 18-year-old Spanish star Lamine Yamal did make his tournament debut off the bench. Coming up in Group H, Saudi Arabia and Uruguay face off in Miami. I'm Lucas Panzica, Westwood.
A small business affirmation from Progressive. Food truck owners, today business will be booming. People will love your new menu and not make special orders. You will not roll your eyes when someone calls it a quesadilla. You will also switch to Progressive to get 30 customizable coverage options and restore your inner peace. See if you can save in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we could recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Truck buyers, listen up. Right now at Nimnick Chevrolet, you can get 0% financing for 60 months on a new Chevrolet Silverado. Look, guys like trucks. I love a truck. I've got a truck from Nimnick and been driving it for the longest time. Well, think about this. 0% for 5 years at Nimnick Chevrolet. Rates haven't been this low in years. Nimnick Chevrolet also has the largest selection of Silverado trucks in Northeast Florida and Southeast Georgia. So don't wait. Head there today. And here's what else you get at Nimnick. People that treat you right. Not just while you're buying the truck, but even after the fact. I've been buying my cars and trucks at Nimnick forever, since 1982. So I promise you, I trust them. Well, you can trust them too. Visit NimnickChevy.com to start shopping today. The largest inventory, better prices, the best interest and rate, and you know what? People that treat you absolutely right. Go get a Chevy Silverado from the best place to get it, at Nimnick. Who treats you fantastic in town? That's easy. Nobody but Nimnick.
If you love the Jags, if you crave the NFL, we make a show for you. It's Jaguars Today with experts and insiders. Locked down by Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors. 10 to noon weekdays on 1010XL.
Frank Frangie here, and Big Chief Tire makes it easier than ever to get the tires you need with the Big Chief credit card. No annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, and right now, $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and get the tires you need today. That's Big Chief Tire.
I'm local attorney Rick Alexander. In my 30 years practicing law, I've learned you never want to choose money over health. It's always a bad deal. Unfortunately, when someone screws up and you get hurt, that choice is gone. Your only choice is whether you face the future with a lawyer or without one. If you're hurt because somebody screwed up, call me at the practice. The Alexander Law Practice, 904-460-600, or alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Overheard at the Hard Rock Bet Party.
Hey man, what's Hard Rock Bet giving new players?
If you win your first $5 bet, you get $150 in bonus bets.
$750? ¿Cuánto? Oh, was that Ronaldinho? Sounds like his first bet scored.
Hard Rock Bet Sportsbook. Roll with us. New customers bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets if you win. Payable in bonus bets, not a cash offer. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about your gambling? Call or text 1-833-PLAY-WISE.
Longer days, warmer nights, and a backyard that brings everyone together. Spring and summer in Florida means pool days, backyard barbecues, and night swims under the stars. Ticket here. For nearly 50 years, Surfside Pools has been creating the backdrops for life's best memories. From weekly service and repairs to remodels, commercial maintenance, and new pool construction, Surfside does it all. Ready to float happy? SurfsidePools.net or call 904-246-2666. Surfside Pools. Summer starts here. License number CPC 044080.
Make Capital Glass and Shower Doors your premier choice for top-quality glass solutions. With over 40 years of expertise, their team specializes in commercial and residential projects. From elegant shower doors to modern frameless enclosures, they've got you covered. But that's not all. They also offer glass railing systems, glass wine cabinets, and much more. For unmatched quality and service, choose Capital Glass and Shower Doors. Your vision, their expertise. Visit online at capcoglass.com.
Hey, Hicken here, folks. It's happening. It is happening. We're going fairway, lush, and green at the Hicken household for, topdressing.com. Treated my yard, and I'm telling you guys, another company cannot do what they do. They have the custom equipment, that secret mix. You can't buy it in the store. Heck, it takes a year to make. With topdressing.com, you're amending your soil, and it's thriving. Make your neighbors jealous. Get to topdressing.com today or call 888-850-1850 for your free estimate.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
It's a Best Bet Monday on The Frangie Show with fantastic locations in Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine. It's Best Bet.
Welcome back to The Frangie Show. Frank on vacation this week. He'll be back on Monday, but Hacker is with us. We've got JJ La Selva. I am Hayes Carline. Let's get to the Jaguar defensive side of the football, and let's talk about Foye Oluokun. Hacker, before we get to the interview that I had with him earlier today, where do you kind of see Foye at this stage of hard to believe he's going into his 5th year as a Jaguar?
Yeah, I mean, you and I were talking, we looked up some numbers here. I mean, he's getting in the conversation for a top 5 Jaguar linebacker of all time. And it go, whether that's your opinion or if you want to go to the numbers, I mean, you just look at sheer tackles in a Jaguar uniform. Posluszny, Darryl Smith, Telvin Smith, Mike Peterson, and then Foye is right there. Actually, Foye is 5th among linebackers. Rashean Mathis is a little bit ahead of him overall. But I think in Jaguar fans' opinions, or at least in my opinion, yeah, he's getting into the Mike Peterson, the Darryl Smith, the Paul Posluszny conversation of Jaguar linebackers that will live in this franchise for what he's done, both on and off the field. He's a great guy for the community. He's clearly the team leader, and he's a heck of a football player on the field.
Without a doubt. And I thought it was really interesting in looking back at Foye's year last year prior to the interview, and he had 11 pass breakups, which was a career high by a mile for him. So you are seeing a player who at 30 is still evolving, still improving. Obviously, he was a great fit for Anthony Campanile. We're going to play a Liam clip after the Foye interview that sort of highlights that even more. But I was really intrigued in terms of the pass defense elevation that Foye has taken place. We knew, obviously, he's one of the NFL's best tacklers, but to see his all-around game really starting to blossom further was really cool. So here's my interview from earlier today with Jaguar middle linebacker Foye Oluokun.
Now, Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors takes you in the locker room.
All right, we're pleased to be joined with Jaguars linebacker Foye Oluokun here on 1010XL 92.5 FM. And it's great to see you. How you doing?
Doing well. I always enjoy being out here playing ball with the boys, so I love it.
How fun is it getting a chance to see these kids and get a chance to talk to them and make their day, give them an autograph?
It's cool, and it's just cool seeing how much their sport has been growing over the years. Even when I first got here to now, I always thought it was well developed from, I came from Missouri. They didn't really have much of an organization for it. Came here, it was like a real legit thing, this girls football. Now it's growing all the time. They're always in the national tournaments and stuff. It's really cool to see. And they really have a fine appreciation for the sport, which is cool to see.
Foye, you had 11 pass breakups last year, career high. When you had a chance to reflect on the season, what went into being more productive in defending the pass?
I think it was us stopping the run as a team. And that went into, it was team defense stopping the run. We were throwing our bodies around. We're kind of playing a little bit different than we were coached the years before, but we all bought into it. And, we might get flung around one play or this play, but it's for the team in order to clog a gap to take it. Our other boy could take the shot and make the shot. So we kind of built that wall, being very physical and throwing our bodies around in there. We watched a lot of clips of it. And then in the pass game, through that trust, we kind of had that trust in the pass game, involved about communication and what to expect. A lot of guys had a lot of eyes back for the screens and stuff, how they were trying to attack us, because we did get eyes back and clogged up passing lanes as well. I wish I could have caught some more of those batted balls or the balls that went through my hands and stuff. Went through a little wrist procedure. We'll help that this year. I'll catch some balls this year. But it was cool. I like having my eyes back, clogging up the middle, being able to communicate anticipated routes and stuff, and then everybody kind of playing off of each other. And I hope to keep growing that part of my game. I know I have a good athletic ability too. Just being able to play well within the defense, have the eyes back, and capitalize on those plays.
How much calm does it bring with it being year two for Liam and Anthony and really all the coordinators? Yeah, it's really cool. You can see the personality coming out in their calls. Now they already understand how teams attack them throughout the game, so they're working on calls that combat, what other teams' strategies will be against us. But we have to, keep our bread and butter. We do have a couple new players that have to, maybe guys who have to step up. We have to get back to being able to trust each other and play off of each other, really sacrifice, to execute the calls and stuff. And once we put that kind of team mindset in, we'll start rolling again. Have all the confidence in the world that now Campbell and Coach Cohen will have their personality show through their offensive and defensive schemes, and we'll be flying. From a strength conditioning standpoint, did you have anything you were prioritizing this offseason?
My wrist. Just coming back from what I did in the off season and re-strengthening and get my motion back, and now keep going all the way through the season or up to the season. But I'll be good to go. Something I've been through before, and then also just coming back here. Now that you're getting older, I really just didn't get out of shape. I stayed in shape. Didn't take as many long breaks off. Just kept things light. But then when I came here with the team, it was time to go. Enjoyed grinding with the team again. So I like where my body's feeling right now. I'm moving well. Just jumped my highest, that little jump thing at the Jaguar. I'm dunking again, windmilling again, catching oops. I always call oops, but I'm excited how I'm moving right now, and hopefully it translates to training camp and then into the season.
4 years here with the Jaguars, you've averaged over 1,000 defensive snaps all those 4 years. Is it hard to believe that you're going into the fifth year here, and are you pleased with the contributions you've made to this organization?
Yeah, I don't really think about it while in it. My mom and dad, I just was with them this weekend, and it's really crazy, 9 years in, 5 years here with the Jaguars. even the first year I signed with the Jaguars, you never know how long you're going to be with the team. But going into a 5th year with the team is pretty cool within itself. And then you stack up what your 9 years look like compared to other people's 9 years if they get there. I like the way I'm playing. I like the way I'm moving. So I've liked what I've done in my career, but I think we can always get a step further because, no year feels complete unless I end a winner, And luckily I've had 2 playoff appearances this year with the Jaguars, which is really cool. I won a 3rd, and I want to keep going in the playoffs all the way to the big dance. So I think as a competitor, that's what I compete for. Obviously, stats accumulate as you win games, and I think having that win games mindset really got me to where I am. And, they keep trusting me here. Into my 5th year, I feel great as ever. I just want to win games, so I'll throw my body around for it.
It seems like this roster is so balanced. Would you describe the health of the roster?
The health?
Yeah. The skill and how deep you guys are.
We are very deep, and I think it comes from nobody's too big and no job is too small, Obviously, we have great players, and you kind of acknowledge your greatness through how the team's doing here. Stats will come as wins come. You have stats on a losing team, people say your ass. So, we want to all win these games so everybody can get what they deserve, and we started it off last year, but it's going to be even a bigger grind to get it this year. And we all know that we have to do it as a team because you have somebody going astray. They might look good for a couple plays or a game or something, but then we won't get to our end goal, and that's where everybody eats. So I think having that kind of leadership mindset going into the season, everybody's got to eat, but that's how we win, and that's how we've been doing it here since I got here in Jacksonville, and it's definitely resonated through the team.
Foye, how important was it getting Gardeck back?
That's one of the trust in the team, guys. Trust his job. I know he's going to, we can talk to each other through the play, in the play, before the play. A grinder. You've seen his effort out there, motor. I love a good motor guy, and he's going to get the job done no matter what it takes. No matter what his body looks like. We've had plays to him send the edge with his bat. Like, we get thrown around out there, but we'll do it for the boys. We'll do it for the team, and then everybody eats off of it. So he's one of the guys that really embodies that, and he came in when I came in, and we keep each other going. So I love him.
Foye Oluokun, thanks so much for your time. Best of luck to you this season.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, always great catching up with Foye, and it's really interesting to see that pass breakup number go up. You heard Foye talk about the risk that he's hopeful to catch more of those this year. Liam Cohen added an additional layer of insight to this. I had a chance to get back to the scrum with Liam after interviewing Foye, and Liam really talked glowingly about the development that Foye Oluokun has made, improving in his pass defense.
It showed up actually last week as well. We were actually in a 2-minute situation, and he gloved one of the running backs on an option route, and I think Foye's obviously his brain works very at a high level, and he can understand release patterns of whether it's the tight end or the running back. He understands the release and maybe what that route could look like. I also think vision zone coverage helped him, right? Not being maybe in man match all the time and having your eyes on the receiver, having your eyes on the quarterback and being able to kind of read his eyes, see the route start to distribute, and then his studying and training and habits can just go allow him to play fast, having vision on the quarterback. I mean, I thought he was a very underrated pass defender last year, and I think he's getting better and better.
I think that's an excellent breakdown by Liam because it does show you why Foye fits so well in Campanile's scheme when you are more in zone and watching the quarterback, because that plays into Foye's instincts, but also, I mean, massive cerebral player. I mean, very much able to diagnose what the offense wants to do. It's why he's been able to last in the league as a 6th-round pick from 2018 and is a very high-paid player now. But I thought that was a really good breakdown from Liam in terms of why this scheme enables Foye to unlock those skills.
Foye Oluokun is going to be a linebacker coach, a D coordinator, and a head coach at some point in the NFL, if he wants to be. I've thought that for a while. Unbelievably smart. Obviously, you look at where he went to college, but the guy knows the game. The guy knows how to work different angles, work with young players. And it got me thinking, too, as we were listening to your conversation with Foye. You know, we talk about the youth on this football team. Yet you look on the defensive side of the ball. Eric Murray, Dennis Gardeck, Eric Armstead, Foye. If you want to throw Hines Allen in there, he's been around quite a while now. You got some veteran guys that have seen a lot of football in the National Football League. And I would say of all those guys, I mean, Hines Allen and Foye, to me, are the two clear leaders of the defense.
Yeah, completely agree. Great stuff. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we'll do our golden moment. We'll also update you on the Big 12's battle with Texas Tech. You're listening to 1010XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show from the Harold and Harold studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Summer on the First Coast. The heat, the beach. 1010XL. Now that's hot. Get your radio on.
You know interest rates are high all over the country, except right here at Beards Diamonds. Beards has rolled back interest rates all the way to 0. Picking here, that's right. Get 0.0% financing now through June 30th for 5 years. You can splurge on that $10,000 engagement ring, pay $167 a month, nothing down. Pick any item, spread your payments over 5 years, 0 interest charges. Who else does that? Beards Diamonds is making everything more affordable. Earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, colored gemstone jewelry, designer fashion jewelry. Now through June 30th, get the best value price Beards is famous for and enjoy 5 years of interest-free financing. A $3,000 pair of earrings she's been dreaming about? $50 a month, 0 down. All natural and lab-grown diamonds included. Don't miss this extraordinary smart buying opportunity. Beards Diamonds, Jacksonville's premier jeweler. Not corporate-owned like everyone else, but locally owned for more than 4 decades. Beards Diamonds at the St. John's Town Center.
Hayes Carline here for Atlantic Infinity. I'm loving my new QX60. It is simply fantastic, but the beautiful 2027 QX65s are in. You've got to go check them out. Also, every new Infinity comes with the Atlantic Infinity Promise. That's over $7,000 in added value. That's one of many reasons why I bought mine there. It was a great experience. The service department is incredible. Do what I did. Make your next ride an Infinity from Atlantic Infinity. Visit AtlanticInfinity.com or visit the showroom near Atlantic in St. John's Bluff.
Hey, I've got that craving again. How about some Mr. Chubby's wings?
Have you had the Chubby style wings? Grilled to perfection with Chubby's secret seasoning.
You know I have. They are so delicious. I swear you can't find anywhere in town with better wings and better prices on drinks.
So many different specials each night, too. Well, I'm ready to chub it up again.
Me too.
See all their specials at MrChubby'sWings.com. Locations on Fleming Island, the West Side, and Ponte Vedra Beach. Mr. Chubby's Wings. Before the game, after the game, and during the game.
Rick Ballou here with a congratulations for John's Auto. They've been in business in Jacksonville for 40 years. That's right, going all the way back to 1985. Right now, they'd like to thank each and every one of you who's ever gotten their vehicle serviced at John's Auto. So, car, truck, or diesel, all makes, all models, whether it's a routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul, go to John's Auto on Arlington Road, JohnAutomotiveJacks.com.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Take strokes off your game by taking pounds off your frame with the Waco 180. Increase flexibility, strength, and endurance. Breaking 190 or even 80 could be just 40 pounds away. Results this summer with the solution for weight loss. A Waco 180, weightloss.com.
You may not be able to control the air you breathe on the outside, but you certainly can on the inside of your home. Just call Florida Home AC and ask about the Remy Halo. It's the next generation of air quality technology. Call 777-4300 for Florida Home AC.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative. Now's the perfect time to order Logo coffee mugs or maybe a logoed stick brand tumbler. They're seriously ice cold and look great with your company logo. Hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Indeed presents hires you can't afford to get wrong, like customer service associate at a dry cleaning shop.
Yeah, hi. I'm here to pick up my suit.
Ah, yes. Here you go.
There must be a mistake. This is too small.
It shrunk a whole lot. Look on the bright side. Now you have a suit you can give to a child.
This is a job for sponsored jobs. This is what happens when you don't sponsor your job on Indeed. Next time, get matched with quality candidates with Indeed sponsored jobs. Visit Indeed.com/hire now and sponsor your job today.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
All right, the golden moment was catching up with Foye Oluwakan. Always enjoy his time, and boy, what a spectacular season that he might be getting ready to have. Healthy, Obviously, you talked about the wrist bothering him last year, but set a career high with 11 pass breakups. If he can get that number again, Hack, or maybe even get to 12 or 13, you'd like to think 3 or 4 of those, may be interceptions for the Jaguars, with Foye now recovered from the injury.
I know that I've talked about this individually. I'm sure you have. I don't think you and I have, at least since the offseason program started. Feel very confident about Foye at one of the linebacker spots. Still trying to replace Devin Lloyd, obviously. They have not gone out and signed anybody, which means they must like what they have in-house. So that's Ventrell Miller, Branson Combs. I would think Kaiser is more Foye's backup. Is it as simple as it's going to be Ventrell or Branson Combs to replace Devin Lloyd?
It certainly seems that way right now. I think when you get the pads on and you get maybe 10, get through maybe the first preseason game and you'll have a joint practice there as well. So I'm curious if that's sort of the deadline. It's like you give the in-house solutions to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And I would agree it's Ventrell and Branson Combs as the 2 likely candidates there. And then if you're not happy, that's when you start dipping into the free agent pool. There'll be players.
I mean, right now, Bobby Wagner, although he's old, but he's still good. Okereke.
Yeah.
But Okereke is played a lot of games for the Colts, a lot of games for the Giants. You just wonder why a guy like that is still on the street and not signed right now.
That's the thing. I mean, it's going to be a low probability play if that's where they end up in terms of bringing somebody in that can play at a really high level. But they don't really need. I mean, that just doesn't need to be a sieve. Like, it just can't be the worst, like a total weakness. Like, if they can get just adequate play there, I think they have enough around that player, the other 10. To where they should feel good about the unit in general. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that battle plays itself out when we get into training camp. But I would think that'd be one where you'd need to see him in pads for a bit and against at least, one opponent, if not more, before making a call. But what do you make of this Texas Tech, Brendan Sorsby situation? The Big 12 today, the update is the Big 12 is sort of getting proactive now, and they're suing Texas Tech and the Texas Attorney General, basically saying, well, we're going to go get a judge to say that we can enforce what's in our bylaws. So obviously the Big 12 and Texas Tech are on a collision course in regards to Brendan Sorsby possibly playing for them this season after he gambled at his previous stop. What's your thought on this, and how do you think Sorsby plays?
Well, the thing is, I mean, here's a guy that entered a gambling addiction rehab center because court documents say that he's gambled literally thousands of times, including over 40 times on an Indiana football team, which he was a part of dating back to 2022. That is the cardinal sin of football. And you talk to any former collegiate athlete, like I talked to Patrick Young about this on the Gator Bites podcast, you don't gamble in the NCAA, as an NCAA athlete. And you sure as heck don't gamble on your team, whether for or against. Because Sorsby knew guys that were getting treatment for injuries in the training room and who was getting an injection before a game, all that stuff. If Brendan Sorsby plays a game for Texas Tech this year, and as of right now, he's eligible to, because a retired judge in Texas said it was okay for Brendan Sorsby to do that and gave an injunction to him against the NCAA. If he plays a game, what is to stop any other college athlete from betting on their team and then saying, well, Brendan Sorsby got to do it. We'll just go find a judge that has an interest in our university to file an injunction. I mean, I think it was you that brought up what point shaving could, explode. To me, you talk about opening up just a can of worms, and it's much more graphic than that, but I'll keep it for terrestrial radio, a can of worms. If Brendan Sorsby takes a snap this year after all of this stuff comes out about him gambling on his team that he was a part of in 2022, what's to stop any athlete in college from gambling on their team moving forward?
I'm also curious to see, what is the Big 12? They're obviously thinking something pretty big. I mean, you don't file this lawsuit unless you are getting ready to throw the book at one of your member institutions. So is it, if he plays, is it's forfeit. Will they not even let him? Like, will they basically? I'm very curious to see how the conference structures the punishment. If it's if he plays this, or do they already want? Is it gone far enough already that the Big 12 wants to put in some kind of sanction? But we really haven't seen this. Florida State and they sued the ACC, but that was to get out of their TV deal.
Right.
That wasn't really over any sort of eligibility thing. That was just, hey, we want more cash, and there may be a conference willing to give us way more cash than what the ACC can. But to your point, I mean, this is something where if he is able to play, you can. I mean, it's sports gambling is legal even if you're the athlete playing for the team that day.
Texas Tech must have nothing else at quarterback. Literally nothing else if they're going to put their boots in the sand and fight this fight.
Well, they have that guy that played last year, but he won't be able to play till half the season because he tore his ACL at the end or something.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I knew the Texas Tech depth chart. But my initial thought is if they're digging their heels in on this, they must have nothing at quarterback for the first part of the year or whatever. And the crazy thing is, like, there's been a lot of backlash and outcry privately to certain situations like this. But, man, the outcry publicly for a school like Georgia to come out and say, basically, none of our teams are going to play Texas Tech in any sport if Brennan Sorsby plays. For the Big 12 for some schools to threaten to not play them, and whether you talk about forfeiting or whatever. But I did think Matt Hayes brought up a great point. I was talking to him about this out at Jaguar practice last week. You know who loves this and wants probably Brennan Sorsby to play? Are the TV networks. You know, if you're ESPN or if you're ABC,
it'll be a story
you're on the Sorsby side of this, because if Brennan Sorsby plays, how many eyes is that going to attract to Texas Tech and whomever, Houston or UCF, whomever, just to see the spectacle that it will be for a guy that's in a gambling rehab to now be playing as a starting quarterback in college football?
It really will be dynamic to see how it all plays out. I think he's going to play. I mean,
you do think he's going to play? I think he's going to play.
It'll be interesting to see what the Big 12 actually does with it. But, I mean, Texas Tech, anybody hoping Texas Tech has a crisis of conscience, that's obviously not going to happen. I mean, they're as dug in on this as you could be. I think, to your point, I think it's silly to throw away your entire athletic reputation over one football season, but they obviously view it that one football season is more important than how people view them. But, I mean, to me, it's like, look, you made a mistake. You signed a kid who had a checkered past that you didn't vet properly or whatever. You knew about it or however. But you can't possibly play him now. So just take a disappointing season and move on to next year.
Yeah.
This isn't some sort of, like, death sentence for Texas Tech. You could always, reinvest your NIL money in the 27 roster and probably be very good again. But it's amazing to me how they won't just say, okay, this season we're in some trouble because we got the wrong guy in here. They're just saying, no, we're going to basically just completely change the dynamic of gambling in this country. When we, at least from an athletic standpoint of the athlete being able to do it.
And I did hear a funny thing on one of the national shows on 1010XL. I forget which show it was. It was one of the weekend shows saying, all right, you want Sorsby to play? Well, he's making $5 million in NIL. Take the games he's going to play. He's scheduled to play in 10 because he's going to be suspended for 2. So $500,000. Make him bet that on every game that he plays. And that'll get some more eyes on the games as well.
That would be hilarious. When we come back on the Frangie Show, we'll wrap it up. We'll hand it off to Hacker, who is the Iron Man, going. He's got his show right after us. And you've got a great Jaguar interview coming tonight that we're going to hear all about. So stay with us. 1010XL, 92.5 FM, coming back on the Frangie Show.
The Frangie Show from the Harrell and Harrell studio. Don't settle for less than you deserve.
Streaming live from the XL Digital Studios. Polished by Harbor Dental Care, the locally owned smile restoration experts.
This is Brent Musburger's Visa in Action update on 1010XL. Brought to you by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning. When you're stuck, call the Duck. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
With the Knicks winning the NBA championship, time to look ahead at future odds for next year's title winner. The San Antonio Spurs, who lost that series in 5 games, are plus 250 to claim the Larry O'Brien Trophy. The Oklahoma City Thunder also at plus 250 to win the championship. The Boston Celtics are the best bet out of the East for next season. They're plus 600. The Knicks plus 750 to repeat as champions. The Denver Nuggets and the Detroit Pistons are both at plus 2,500. The Carolina Hurricanes are the Stanley Cup champions, beating the Vegas Golden Knights in 6 games, and they are plus 650 to win the Cup next year. The Colorado Avalanche are second at plus 700.
Progressive helping veterans drive their lives forward. More info, keysofprogress.com.
I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010 XL.
Buying a home with a septic system? Then there's one step you absolutely cannot skip, the inspection. Know for sure before you close. Call Duck Duck Rooter, Northeast Florida's only master septic contractor with the experience to inspect your system the right way, so there are no surprises later. Right now, take $50 off a full septic system inspection, including a detailed report. The small step that can save you from a big mistake.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
Hey guys, Prosser here. When you need new windows or doors, you want high-end quality without the middleman markup. That's exactly why I'm telling you about Cash Building Material. Same premium materials, same beautiful finishes, but at a price that actually makes sense for your home. No subcontractors, no runaround, just their own experienced crews who treat your house like it's theirs. Get a quote today, thank me tomorrow. For windows and doors, search Cash Building Material. Windows and doors done right.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentists and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning, then deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, located in Bartram Park.
When you're hungry, go big, and more importantly, go to Daly's, where they got anything and everything to tantalize your taste buds and fill you up. At Daly's, our barbecue beef brisket sandwich is slow smoked to perfection, tender, juicy, and full of bold flavor. It's the kind of sandwich that truly satisfies. Try the barbecue brisket sandwich at Daly's. Meanwhile, some favorites never go out of style. The Duval sub at Daly's is stacked, loaded, and made with the bold flavor you want in every bite. Fresh ingredients, big taste. It's a local favorite. Grab the Duval sub today at Daly's. Or maybe you just want a delicious chicken sandwich. Some choices just work. The chicken sandwich at Daly's is crispy on the outside, it's juicy on the inside, and it is full of flavor. Perfect for lunch, perfect for dinner, perfect anytime hunger hits. So grab the chicken sandwich today at Daly's. Daly's is made fresh, it's made local, and Daly's is built for big appetites. I'll see you there today.
Soccer fans, Michelob Ultra is going to pay somebody $90,000 to go to the FIFA World Cup 2026 final and bring the Superior Player of the Match trophy. Yes, I'm being serious right now. It's got some weight to it. This is the real thing, people. Michelob Ultra, $90,000. FIFA World Cup 2026 final. You watch the match, you get the honor of carrying the Superior Player of the Match trophy. That's a soccer fan's dream come true.
Enjoy the beautiful game with a cold Michelob Ultra, the official beer of World Cup 2026.
The best value for golf in Jacksonville remains Cimarron, totally reestablished with new tee boxes, improved fairways and greens, also a brand new restaurant with indoor and outdoor settings, and live music. Join the Wild One loyalty program online at Cimarron Golf. When's the last time you played Cimarron? Cimarron Golf Club on 210, the Wild One.
America's turning 250, and Superior Fireworks is ready for the biggest 4th of July in a generation. Beat the rush and save during their 4th of July early sale, now through June 30th. Shop early for the best prices, selection, and shopping experience before huge last-minute crowds arrive. Superior Fireworks, the locally owned fireworks superstore, right on Blanding Boulevard in Orange Park and at superiorfireworks.com/radio.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
All right, we're wrapping it up here on the Frangie Show. But Hacker, thank you so much for joining us. Really looking forward to spending some time with you over the next few days, and really appreciate you sitting in with us because you're doing double duty. Tell us what's coming up on Hacker After Dark.
Yeah, certainly appreciate being in with you. Hacker After Dark begins in for Rick Ballou, 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. Danny Strigow is going to join me. A guy that was an undrafted free agent this time last year, worked his tail off alongside B.J. Green, and both guys on the defensive line ended up making the 53-man roster. I want to talk to Danny about what the perspective is a year later. Are all the undrafted free agents this year coming to him and B.J. Green? Like, man, how did you guys do this? And Danny knows that, he's got to do it all over again. He's not guaranteed a roster spot, but I thought he played well last year when given an opportunity. So we'll have Danny Strigow. Jamal St. Cyr of Channel 4 is going to stop by, and our AFC North preview begins. We're doing one division per week leading up to Jaguar training camp at the end of July. This week, it's all about the AFC North. We'll make stops in Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, but tonight we'll begin with the Jaguars' opening day opponent. We'll make a stop in Cleveland. My guy Scott Petrak of BrownZone.com talking Myles Garrett, talking Deshaun Watson, and talking about Tyson Campbell, who Cleveland's very excited to have coming into 2026.
Fantastic. We'll be listening. JJ, we got something to give away?
Yes, in the excitement of the World Cup, we got local soccer, folks. So I have a family 4-pack of tickets to see Sporting Jack's men take on the Charleston Battery. That is this Saturday at 7 p.m. So be caller number 4 right now at 641-1010.
All right, magnificent. Get to watch some big-time soccer. That's going to do it for us. Hacker, thank you so much for sitting in. Really appreciate it. Look forward to doing it again tomorrow.
Thanks, Hayes.
All righty, for Hacker, for JJ, I'm Hayes Carline. For the vacationing Frangie, that's going to do it for us. But stay tuned. Hacker After Dark up next. You're listening to 1010XL, 92.5 FM.